Hi everyone, my name is Sive and this video is a Thanksgiving vlog. I have done one every year and it was the start of my booktube channel 4 years ago. So this video is a little anniversary booktube channel video. I am off of work for the next 4 days and I am going to be spending a lot of time with family and of course doing a lot of reading. So every year I like to bring you guys along with what I get up to this long weekend. Currently right now I am reading A Curse for True Love. This book is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. It is a young adult fantasy. It's super good. I've definitely just been in the mood for this. I could see this being something that I didn't and wouldn't have enjoyed if I wasn't in the mood for this. I'm literally trying to finish this morning. Like, how many pages do I have left? I've got around 85 pages left in this book. Like, I'm trying to finish this morning. I filmed a little earlier some thoughts on picking a new TBR, so here we go. Hi, my name is Sive and I'm not very good at mood reading. I'm gonna read some of the synopsis of the bigger books on my TBR to get into this weekend and see if any of them catch my eye. Empire the Vampire by J. Kristoff is going to be the biggest one. It's a grimoire fantasy. Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan is a historical fantasy. It's the second in a duology, which I gave 5 stars to the first one. Absolutely loved it. Then Mary, An Awakening of Terror is assumedly a horror. This is a debut novel and I've heard really, really great things about it. So here we go. Now, all that to say, I still have not picked what I'm gonna read after I finish A Curse for True Love, so we're just gonna focus on that, and that this is going to be a decision for later. So I just finished A Curse for True Love and I absolutely loved the ending. I do think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I didn't enjoy the start of it as much as I have the other books. So I gave Once Upon a Broken Heart 4 stars. I gave The Ballad of Never After 5 stars. So those are the 2 previous books. So I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. It was a really, really good series and she definitely did a great job with the ending. One of the big themes of this story is every story has the opportunity, the chance for infinite endings. And she plays a lot with that. So I definitely loved that concept and loved that she carried that through to the ending of her own series. It's a belief that the main character Evangeline holds true throughout the entire books. Really, really loved it. And I am going to basically this morning gonna be very chill. I will let you know if I pick another book, but I'm just gonna continue to hang out, enjoy the fire in the library, and I'll let you know what I pick up next. I wanted to show you the next thing I'm up to today. I'm making a second cup of coffee at the moment, but I wanted to wear this skirt. It's obviously inside out, but I'm gonna do a little repair on a seam that ripped on the side. So I'm gonna take a look at that today because I really wanna wear this to dinner tonight. Morning. I know I abandoned you, but it was intentional yesterday. I went over to my family's and just spent a lot of quality time together and had an early dinner. We played games, had a fire. It was perfect. It was honestly one of the better Thanksgivings that I've had, which is wonderful. It's the following morning. I'm caffeinated and I'm reading. So I just wanted to tell you what I ended up picking up to read. I did go for Mary by Nat Cassidy. I'm in the mood for horror, I think. I really suck at mood reading, but at this point I'm 30 pages into it. I did not start it yesterday. Dude, yesterday I like read the first chapter of 2 books. I read the synopsis of at least 4 books and was just like trying to pick something. So this is what I've ended up picking up, and it is so good. I'm really enjoying this book so far. It was very gross and very fast-paced right out the gate, which always helps. That solidified that it was the right book to pick up because I want something that I can start and finish this weekend. So it's Friday. I do not have a lot of plans today, but I do have a much busier day tomorrow on Saturday. So we will see how that goes. I will keep you in the loop as I continue reading and what I get up to today. We are getting ready to go on a walk. We just ate some leftover Thanksgiving. And I have a reading update. Mary by Nat Cassidy is literally so good. The opening was crazy, and we are following a woman who is 49 years old, and she goes to take care of her aunt who raised her, and her aunt is a very insufferable, hard to live with person. I've read 75 pages this morning. It's a 400-page book, and I would love to, again, start and finish this weekend. So I will let you know when I make more reading progress, but we're about to go on a walk, so bye. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit more about Mary. We are back from our walk. I did have another cup of coffee, and I've just been reading a lot this afternoon, and I'm really enjoying this book so much. I just feel lucky that the book that I did end up picking is a hit, and I am flying through it. And I'm not joking when I say flying. Y'all, I am over 150 pages through this book. I had the goal to get 1/3 of the way today, 1/3 of the way tomorrow, 1/3 of the way, and finish it on Sunday. I'm past the imaginary quota that I set on myself to read today, which is great. Can totally see myself getting halfway through it today, easily. Oh my gosh, I know you're gonna be able to hear that. Jared is vacuuming. He doesn't know I'm recording. Our main character, Mary, is currently living with her aunt, and she's revisiting the town she grew up in and is remembering stuff. Basically, she lost a few memories and she obviously wasn't aware of that. She is seeing things. She has an undervoice that she hears chime in. This undervoice has a lot more of a dark personality, a bit of impulsiveness, tendency towards violence, and she dismisses it quite often. She unfortunately has been experiencing like writing down stuff and not remembering it, and then of course seeing these apparitions. Now, the apparitions are consistent across the board. It's not like she just sees random stuff all the time. She's specifically seeing women who are naked, dead, and then they all have like pillowcases over their heads, and they are clearly like you can just tell by their bodies they're not the same woman. It's multiple different women. And so she'll see them on the street standing next to a car. She'll see them like in a car that's passing her, like with their hands up, like staring at her as they drive past. She specifically is getting to know one that lives in the bathroom of her aunt's house. The horror element is there. I am adoring Mary as a character. She just really wants to be a good person. She doesn't have a strong sense of belonging in her apartment in New York, let alone this town in Arizona that she grew up in. Like, she hasn't been back for decades. Like, she definitely doesn't feel at home here. She's incredibly endearing and charming, and so she has moved into Aunt Nadine's house because she is dying and just needs to be taken care of. So she also gets a part-time job at this house called the Cross House. It used to be a school. It's got a lot of like old records from the town. in the basement, and so that's her job, is sorting through these old files and old folders. And she has a coworker who's a 15-year-old girl named Eleanor, and these two women who are from very different backgrounds, and you know, one of them's 50, one of them's 15, this friendship that's forming is actually quite charming. Eleanor is fascinated with the macabre. She's a true crime podcast girly. Just a lot of very familiar stuff for me and like me and my friends' lives, which is a super fun element to be added into this book. Mary has confided in Eleanor some of the stuff that she's been experiencing, and the two of them are partaking in an investigation. They are doing the research right now. So that is where we're at story-wise. Plot-wise, I think that's the extent of what I'll fill you in on. The horror element is quite strong. Now, there's some very gross writing. Aunt Nadine is an extremely crass, difficult person. There are definitely elements of body horror in this so far. Apparitions haven't really done anything until just these last 10 or 20 pages that I've read, and after finding out like what they can do, I'm like, this is about to get even grosser. So I would say keep that in mind if you are considering picking this up. Now, I feel like if you're gonna consider reading Mary, An Awakening of Terror, like you would kind of be okay. Like if you were even entertaining reading this, you would be okay with horror. But I just like to say that, and of course look up trigger warnings. But I'm really, really, really enjoying this. I don't even know what time it is. Probably mid to late afternoon now at this point. I would love to keep reading, and if I make it halfway through this, I'm either going to keep reading or I have been wanting to reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame ahead of the release of Onyx Storm. This time last year in my Thanksgiving vlog, I was finishing Iron Flame. So it's been about a year since I've been in this series, and feel like a reread would help me love and appreciate the new release that's coming out. I will, of course, let you know if I pick up anything different than this. So I'll keep you in the loop. Okay, so I have been reading more of Mary, and it is so fast-paced. So much has happened. I genuinely feel like the halfway point of this book was the equivalent to what I could see being the entire like climax of the story. So I have no idea where we're gonna go from here. I am on page 250. Cannot believe I've read that much. So I am on part 5, and I'm gonna stop here for tonight. Again, don't know what time it is. Well, I can actually check for you. So it's 8:30 in the evening. I'm gonna put this away for now. I'm going to start my reread of Fourth Wing. I have 14 days, 2 weeks to get through my reread of Fourth Wing, and I want to annotate my copy, my physical copy. So the first time I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame was via audiobook, and they are amazing books, like solid 4-star reads, the both of them. And so I had bought physical copies when I found them like pretty inexpensive. So I wanted to reread and annotate my own copy. So I'm gonna grab my little annotating kit and get into my reread of Fourth Wing. Okay, good morning. It is Saturday morning. It's already been a pretty busy morning. I've been to the store, I've been back, I made my coffee. Oh, hello. We've been cleaning the house because we are having friends over to watch the Carolina-Clemson football game. The game is gonna start at noon. Thanks. The game starts at noon, and yeah, we're having friends over, want to clean the house. My reading update for you is that I read 50 pages of Fourth Wing, got a little ways into that reread, and then yeah, I read 250 pages of Mary last night. So I woke up this morning, I finished the chapter that I stopped at for Fourth Wing, and I haven't done any other reading today. I need to wash my hair, get myself ready now that the house is ready and the food is prepped. Then we do have another dinner tonight. We went to dinner at Jared's parents' house, and we are going back there for another dinner with another like section of family tonight. So lots of family time, lots of dinners. Today is going to be significantly less reading done, and that's okay. But yeah, I got pretty far in Mary last night, and I was very happy about that. large sequence of hours have passed. It is the following day, Sunday, and the last day of our Thanksgiving break. I did very little reading yesterday before we had friends come over, and then we went over to parents' house for dinner. Yesterday was a little bit more busy, but today we've just gone to church and we've gotten back from church and ate lunch. Yesterday I read a little bit of Fourth Wing and now we're on page 55. My goal today is to complete my to-do list. I've made a to-do list. Help me feel like I'm not forgetting stuff. I need to make the guest beds and fold laundry, make the grocery list, do the grocery shop, and then I really want to finish Mary by Nat Cassidy because it's been a really freaking amazing read and I didn't get to read anything yesterday. And then I want to read to page 106. And I know that that sounds very specific, but the reason for that is because I have 14 days to finish this audiobook. I like to listen and tandem read at the same time. And so the amount of pages divided by 14 days is 35. We're on our third day. We really should be approaching around 106 pages. So those are the things that are on my to-do list today. I am not quite in the mood to sit down and read just yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fold the laundry and make the grocery list right now. Okay, so I did some of the chores, not all of them, but I did some things off the to-do list. And I've been sitting here reading Mary, and I've been listening to the audiobook while following along in my copy. And for this book, I would highly recommend that. There is a lot of self-interruption from this narrator, Mary. You can see it being hard to follow along if you weren't reading it physically of what she's thinking in her head versus what she's actually saying out loud. That there is a component of like voices, so she's been able to see some entities and spirits and stuff, and then what is being told to her that she can hear versus what is being told to everybody in the room. All of that is differentiated from the physical copy. You would not be able to tell that, like the difference between those if you were only listening to the audiobook. So that's just something to note with this. I'm not sure if I would feel as absolutely frazzled, confused, unsettled if I was just listening to the audiobook, because that's a very effective writing device, and it is obviously very intentional by the author, Nat Cassidy, that is the way they want you to feel. And it's working. I feel so completely disoriented, and the plot is just moving so quickly. So much has happened. A very plot-heavy horror book for sure. This is a fantastic freaking book. I am absolutely loving this. It's just a good reminder of like why I love horror, because I feel so out of it right now. Halfway through the book, a big thing happened. I mentioned it to you. I felt like it was as potent as what could have been the end of this book. And since then, there's been one other climactic piece of information that has been revealed that I, again, feel could have been the climax of the book. Oh my gosh, we are just going someplace. I'm so excited. I am completely invested. I really want to finish this book today. It's around 2:30. I have a second cup of coffee. I'm gonna drink this. At around 3 or 3:30, I am going to go to the grocery store. I made my list, and I'm gonna take a break from this and then finish it tonight, and then hop into rereading some more of Fourth Wing. That's where we're at. Lots of errands and chores today, and lots of reading. And I have kind of cooked dinner. We've got like 1 or 2 more things to cook. But I finished Mary, and the end was very like thief on the run vigilante, but like times 1,000 gross factor. It's like very heavily inspired by Carrie, and that's not a spoiler, he says that in like the introduction. So yeah, it was very gross, and it had been gross like the whole book, In the horror genre, there's a very large variation of body horror. You can find something that literally has none of it, and there's only like more psychological horror, and then you can find a book that is like really far on the other end of the spectrum. So I would say that this is more towards the other end of the spectrum. It did make me feel a little queasy at points, but the story is so good. I'll have to give this some thought because I don't know if I'm gonna give this a 4 or a 5. The fact that I'm even entertaining this to be a 5 is pretty amazing. I've picked some amazing horror books up this year. Whereas the previous years I've been reading horror, I've really like only ever gotten like 3 and 4 stars, maybe the occasional 5. But this, if I give this 5 stars, this will be like literally the 5th or the 6th horror book that I've given 5 stars to this year, which is incredible. That is another thing crossed off my to-do list. I am going to eat some food, and we are going to then pick up Fourth Wing, and that will be that done as well. It is pretty early in the evening, so if I pick anything else up later, I will of course let you know, but we're just locking in for a very cozy night. Tonight for dinner we are doing Chipotle bowls, so rice and chicken and then a bunch of toppings. This is guacamole back here. Good evening. This might be the last update that I give you guys. I've read to page 115, chapter 10 of Fourth Wing, so that is done for today. And I have found myself at a decision that I was not expecting to make. Essentially, I want to reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before January 25th. And I'm loaning my copy of Iron Flame to my sister-in-law on December 16th. So I was just planning on slowly working through this and then giving her my copy of Iron Flame, and when I get it back, like slowly working through it. And now I'm thinking, do I actually just like binge and like sprint read these books rather than, you know, going through them slowly? The only pro of choosing to do this really slowly would be so that I can continue to work on my physical TBR to get it down to a reasonable spot before Christmas. Books are the main Christmas present that I get, really, especially from Jared. So I always like to make an effort to reduce my physical TBR under that 5-book amount before Christmas. These are not on my physical TBR technically because I have already read them. These are rereads. Good news is that I am really enjoying my Fourth Wing reread so far. Oh my gosh, she just had this wonderful freaking fight scene with the guy in the war college that wants to kill her, and they were like in a training session, like in a gym, and it's addictive, dude. It is addictive. I am addicted to Zayden Ryerson. I remember when I read this for the first time that anytime he popped up, I would just like, I don't know, it made me love that book. Zayden Ryerson is the reason I love Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. It's 8:30 right now. I'm deciding whether I keep going and commit to completely finishing this Fourth Wing reread this upcoming week, or do I pick a different book? Probably a decision for another time. Thank you for joining me on this Thanksgiving vlog. I cannot believe that I have been doing booktube for 4 years. That is actually insane. I love this community. I love the way that I make videos, and I know I am not the most consistent content creator, but it just really works for me and my lifestyle. It is a perfect, like, joyful participation without it feeling like an obligation, and I'm just super grateful. So obviously Thanksgiving was on Thursday, and on Friday it was Native American Heritage Day. I just wanted to highlight 3 really good books that I have read by authors or featuring characters that are Native American. First and foremost, Bad Crate by Jessica Jones. Oh my gosh, this book is so good, you guys. It is a horror. It has a little bit of a monster element, reconnecting with family and a little bit of family trauma. Then there's Winter Counts. It is more of a thriller, like crime thriller, and that one has like a drug element. Oh my gosh, I probably read that book probably 2 or 3 years ago now. And the other one I wanted to highlight, what was that? I don't know how I could have forgotten The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, but that is a horror book that had everybody like in a chokehold, like 2020, a really ambitious, unique, creative horror novel, and I still think about that book for sure. I feel like if I reread it, I would give it a higher rating than the 3 or 4 star that I gave it. My horror taste has just been so beautifully cultivated this year, and I feel like The Only Good Indians is definitely in my lane. So that is everything I have for you guys. Thank you for joining me on this super chill weekend. I did do a lot of reading. I read 400 pages of Mary, and then I read 100 pages of Fourth Wing, totaling 500, probably a little more than that. Super happy with those reads. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season and happy December. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, because we're officially in the season and in the Christmas spirit. I have like 1 or 2 ideas for the end of the year content. So if you like bookish content, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you. And other than that, have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next video. Bye.